our intro.
Bring it on. Want some, get some. Can I get a hell yeah? Yes, I am a pirate. You have to go with the pirates because, of course, they have cannons and everything. It's a pirate's life for me. Be proud of who you are and what you are. You're a pirate.
This is a first down. Pirates.
Because when you're in East Carolina, you go for it every time. Well, you don't coach at East Carolina, you don't come to East Carolina, you don't play at East Carolina with a weak heart. Write it.
I think I've ever been in a building as loud as that was. It was deafening in there.
Whoever Omaha, I can promise you that.
And it's purple all night long in Eastern North
You're
Carolina.
watching The Sports Objective, the podcast for Pirates.
Yeah. My heart is purple and gold. I'm a pirate down of my soul, and I don't back down, not at all. Find out when the cannons explode.
All right, welcome in to the Sports Objective as we're giving you the Pirate football playback. It feels like an eternity ago as the Pirates beat Tulsa. And with us right now, ladies and gentlemen, all the way back from the mountains, I'm talking about Kyle from LaGrange Barber. How are you?
What's going on, Dave? Yeah, Thursday. It does seem like it was a while ago now. These Thursday night games, thank God they're over. It's too many of them. Four's too many. Although on the road it really doesn't bother me, but two at home is one too many. I don't know. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I don't know what we can do with the conference and ESPN kind of controlling everything, but I sure would like for us to do just one Thursday night game at home going forward. It really hurts our attendance and hurts the atmosphere. And, I get it with, if you live in, Raleigh, Charlotte, Greensboro, Richmond, Northern Virginia, Virginia Beach, whatever. It's hard to stay for the whole game. But our students suck. I'm calling them out right now, not that they're listening. But, man, y'all suck. Back in my day, look, I remember when Jessica went there, I didn't go to East Carolina, but I'll use my wife as an example. Early 2000s when she went there, all the students stayed, at least for the most part. Maybe the JT years, not so much, but who did? It's friggin' garbage. We play Charlotte next home game a few weeks from now, and that'll be a Saturday. That'll be homecoming. Hopefully, we have around 40,000 in there, and they all stay. So anyway, that's my rant on that. We'll talk about the game.
No doubt. And let's bring in Johnny Robertson as we're going to get Matt Simmons in just a second. Johnny, how are you, man?
Hey, I'm doing well, fellas. I'm like Kyle. I'm glad these Thursday night games are over. But boy, I tell you, it allowed me to watch some college football all day yesterday. And the early window wasn't so great. But, man, some of those midday games and later in the night, those games were just spectacular. Like, I'm just very glad that I was able to watch them because I was very entertained.
No doubt. Let's bring in the former linebacker in the Steve Logan era. I'm talking about Matt Simmons, number 49. What's up, brother?
Fellas, what's up? It's funny. Just like you guys, the hardest part for me about these Thursday night games is, you have to wait so long to do the show. And you start to forget the little details of, all the things that happen. I had to go back today and rewatch most of that game just to prepare for the show tonight. But, I agree, Kyle, on your point calling out the students. I think that's kind of well-deserved. And, guys, a lot of positives in this game. Certainly, some things you would want back. But just to kind of at least open the show here with some positives, we got 3 explosive plays in this game, 2 to Anthony Smith, 1 to London Montgomery, which I thought was great to see London be able to flash that speed in the open field for once. And, so you kind of got back to the explosive plays. You ran the ball for 250 plus yards.
Yep.
And you scored 41 points in a win in a conference game. So a lot to talk about, but wanted to kind of kick it off with just some of the obvious positives from the game.
I'll give you another obvious positive, Matt. They cut it. I don't remember if it was late third, early fourth. They cut it to 7. and we responded with 10 straight points and put the game away. That's what a good football team does.
That's a great point. Absolutely. And yeah, it was getting a little dicey there. So it was good to be able to put the game away at that point.
Hey, Matt, I know that we're in segment 2 now with the film study. So what stood out for you? I know that people, by the way, I've had a couple people ask me over the last week or so, we can't show wish we could, but we can't show like in other words, where Matt would have a telestrator and we can do all the plays because it's owned by ESPN. But having said that, I know, Matt, you've watched the game and you obviously we had the game Thursday night. What were the takeaways for you?
Well, I wish we could do that stuff. I mean, it's too bad that we can't. We tried that last year and we got dinged for it right away.
Yeah,
but
There's got to be a workaround. I'll have to look into that.
Yeah, it would be great if we could do that.
Yeah.
It would definitely add to what we want to talk about. But I think again, like this offense, at least speaking offensively, this offense is really predicated on, they want to run the ball and they want to hit the explosive down the field to Anthony Smith, and those two things kind of go hand in hand. And I feel like this is kind of maybe the first game all year where you sort of saw those things together, where you were able to run the ball really effectively and then hit your deep shots down the field. There were two to Anthony Smith, who I thought he played a great game. And then Spalding had I would call it a deep shot. It was probably about a 30, 35 yard gain over the middle on a post.
Yeah, it was exactly that.
Yeah. So when you can do those two things in this offense, when you can establish the run and then really get things going vertically, that seems to be, now having watched JDB for 2 years, that to me, and I'll throw it to you guys, that seems to be his comfort zone and what he wants to do.
Yeah, no doubt, Matt. I think obviously the running the ball is critical for this offense and the deep shot. I mean, like you just said, and when you can do those two things, you're going to be successful running this offense. You get the tempo going and everything else. We were able to do that the other night. My one complaint for the other night, talking about the passing game, the deep shots, and and I don't know. Jr. talked about Tulsa's corner, who had been beat several times, but had 5 picks, and I think he was on Yannick. Jr. Was that right?
Yeah, most of the time he was. He switched up, but yeah, he was on Yannick.
I don't know if it was a strategy where we didn't think they could beat us unless we turned the ball over, so we just didn't go that way. But man, Yannick is such a playmaker, and while the other night we did just fine without targeting him, you got to get the ball in his hands more. That's one thing that still troubles me with this offense is we don't get the ball in our playmakers' hands enough. We did get it in Mike Wright's hands. We utilized Mike Wright all over the field a little more in this game. Got it in Anthony Smith's hands. Utilized the running backs pretty well, but no Yannick Smith. And it looks like that on the depth chart that Parker Jenkins has been replaced by Engelman.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier, Johnny, about the fact that Matt and Kyle about Parker Jenkins. I asked to make sure that I wasn't mistaken, but I didn't see him play at all.
No.
And I told Johnny earlier, I want to get you guys. I told him if I could, basically where I'm at right now is Gunn. Obviously Montgomery played a lot better. He's the 2, Engelman 3, and Parker 4. And he agreed with me, so it made me feel good that Johnny felt that way.
Yeah. No. Hey, Matt, you were right on about Spalding. You said I think it was a 30-yard.
Yep.
Yeah. It was exactly. He hit him at 26 yards. He got 4 yards after carry, so that was a good memory on your part. But hey, what I wanted to talk about with Yannick is he BYU 10 targets, 9 receptions, 146 yards. The 3 games since BYU, he's had 10 targets, 7 receptions, 92 yards. That's in 3 games. So, I don't know that he's seeing the best cover corner every week. I mean, I don't, with Anthony Smith on the other side, I don't think he is, but we need, like both of you said, we need to find a way to get him the ball. Absolutely.
that was in my notes, guys, because Matt, one of the things we've talked about, I want to get your take, Matt, being the former player. We did a better job, I felt like, with getting for the most part, the plays in the playmaker's hands, except for Yannick Smith. And I was wondering, is it because he's double teamed? Is he double covered? I mean, what is the deal that we can't get the ball to him?
Well, he did see press coverage for most of the night, it looked like,
Okay.
and against that corner who is obviously pretty good. In terms of the length, I mean, that Yannick's about 6'3", and that corner on Tulsa is about 6'2". So it was a pretty even matchup in terms of size. He didn't have that, size matchup advantage like he normally does. But I think it's just, it is frustrating at times how you don't get him the ball more. And I got to believe he's feeling some frustration too, guys, because listen, as a playmaker and anytime you have that type of talent and the ability to make plays, you want the ball. And that's not being a diva. That's being a competitor and saying I really want the ball. And he hasn't even said that. All right. But I got to believe deep down inside, he's a little frustrated with the lack of touches. And, you got to find ways creatively to get him the ball. And I think I've been saying this all year, Kyle, and I know you have too, and all you guys. But, man, use him in the red zone on jump balls and fades to the back corner. And he's just too good of a weapon to not get the ball to.
I wish we'd do that more, period. Whether it's to Yannick or Anthony it just drives me crazy. I'll see one-on-one up top. We never do it. That drives me nuts. Speaking of red zone, JR, what were our red zone statistics this week?
Look,
were we perfect in the red zone?
I'm getting red zone fatigue because it forces me to be negative, and I hate to be negative, but it was 4 for 4, Kyle, but it was 2 touchdowns, 2 field goals, 20 points, 5 points per red zone, appearance. You got to do better than that. I mean, Memphis is almost at 7. They're like 6.5. North Texas is over 6. You got to get more touchdowns, and we were doing that earlier in the season. When we did score in the red zone, they were mostly touchdowns. But I said before the game, well, when we did our preview, I said I want 2 things to happen. I said normally I like more passing. This week I want more running, but I want to see Caton connect on a couple of nice deep balls, and those 2 to Anthony Smith were beautiful. And, I think we can put the wrist issue to rest probably because those were big time throws. And, I feel like Caton's fine. I feel like we got a running game going now. We kind of know who we want to lean on in the backfield. So I'm hoping we can just progress from here, and maybe that'll affect the red zone and we'll do better. But yeah, we were 4 for 4, and so were they, by the way. They were 4 for 4 too. But 20 points.
The back-to-back weeks, perfect in the red zone. I'll take it. And I'd like to be as good as Memphis and North Texas in the red zone. But unlike North Texas and apparently Memphis yesterday, we can play defense. So we don't have to be as good as them. But I'd like to be, make the games a lot easier. But still improvement. We're taking advantage of scoring opportunities, even if it's just 3. And 3 can be huge sometimes. When they went up by 7 and we came down and kicked the field goal and that extended the lead to 10, that was big. And then the next time we got it in the red zone, we did, put 7 on the board. But I'm with you. I'd rather see touchdowns down there, but some points are better than no points. And that's back-to-back weeks where we scored every time in the red zone. So that's an improvement. So I'll take it.
And Matt, that you were talking about the deep balls, and Johnny, the Anthony Smith had a 66-yarder and a 63, and he had a career high 150 yards. Can you imagine if we had that solid running game continue, and you can have the Smith and Smith combination, and then you throw in the wrinkle of Brock Spalding? I mean, we can definitely do very well going down the stretch.
Yeah, I agree. We had 91 snaps on offense as well. That is by far our season high. I think we had 77 against Coastal. That was the previous high. So I like the up tempo. I just we did punt 4 times and we turned it over on downs twice. So I don't mean to be greedy, but we should have beaten Tulsa by 20 points. They're averaging losing by 25 a game in conference. So, I just feel like we should have scored more on Tulsa, but I'm happy.
You make a good point. What you just said there, 91 snaps, and our previous high was 77. With an up tempo offense, 77 snaps ain't going to get it done. That's the reason to go up tempo is tire out the defense, run as many offensive plays as you can, and so that 85 to 95 snaps a game is where we need to be at. So that's a huge stat you just mentioned. I didn't realize that our previous freaking high was 77 snaps. That's insane with the kind of offense we run.
Yeah, it's like takes you back to the Lincoln Riley days almost, fellas, when we were running, that many snaps offensively in a game. But what else is interesting about that point is we were, when you really look at this game, we were down both of our starting tackles for most of this game. Bryce Weaver didn't play at all. McCrimmon went out early in the game, which forced we put in Jason Tarpe, who played, I want to say he played at least 50 to 60 snaps in that game. That's his first really extended playing time as a left tackle here. And then you didn't see Kyle Long at all at left guard. You saw Panda Askew get 100% of the snaps. So, some interesting things, obviously a little banged up, especially at tackle. Not sure what the story was with Kyle Long, if that was just a decision where Panda has won the job outright, or if he was a little banged up going into this game. But you were down quite a few offensive linemen there to play that many snaps.
Yeah, and 41 points, and we could have scored more, but good point. Good to be off 16 days with that many offensive linemen down, and I really thought, speaking of guys being out, I thought we missed Reason a lot on the back end at corner. I have been very, very disappointed with. Oh God, help me out, guys! Lowry, yes, Lowry, Western
Jordy
Carolina.
I knew
Lowry.
where you were going.
Jordy Lowry,
I knew
FCS
where you
All
were going
American.
right away.
Yeah, very disappointed with him. I really expected big things out of him, and I don't know why it just hadn't worked out. I know it's step up the competition, different scheme, but I saw him play against NC State last year at Western, and he looked good. So I'm really disappointed in the way he's played. But yeah, I thought we missed Reason a lot the other night. I think that was part of the reason Tulsa scored as many points as they did. Also, give their head coach what is his name?
Trey Lamb.
Trey Lamb. Thank you. Give Trey Lamb credit. Very creative offensive mind. Did a great job at Gardner Webb. Did a great job at East Tennessee the 1 year he was there. Has his quarterback and his OC from East Tennessee with him. So they know what they're doing. I expect Tulsa to get better as the season goes. And it's a point that I made on here, and then I made it on Pirate Radio. I think that, mid-season, everybody's got these transfers and everybody's got talent now. And teams come together now mid-season a lot more because everybody has talent. You don't have these big drop-offs of talents in your conference level. SEC, you look at the SEC yesterday. Every game was close for the most part. In the American, every game except Temple and Charlotte, and then South Florida and FAU. Besides that, every game was close in the American. I mean, UAB upsets Memphis. I really just think that we're to the point now, and you look in the Sun Belt, Coastal early in the year. If you would have told me, okay, if you would have told me that East Carolina and Coastal Carolina at this point in the season would have the same record, we both be 4-3 after we beat them 38-0, I'd have told you lost your ever loving mind, or either. So that's shocking to me. But to my point, with all these transfers, teams get better as the season goes. Tulsa had an extra week to prepare for us. Trey Lamb's a very creative guy. I think Tulsa's probably going to continue to get better as the year goes. And the game being competitive at times really doesn't bother me, because I think you're going to see a lot of that. And I think we are seeing a lot of that throughout college football. Upsets out of nowhere, and games just being really, really close.
Yeah. Hey, Matt, I was interested in what you thought about this, because Kyle brought up Jordy Lowry, and I'm 100% in agreement with them. I don't like to, I don't usually like to call out a player, but he
They're getting
just wasn't
paid
getting
now.
he wasn't getting the job down. He just wasn't. So we had a freshman in there that he only played a few snaps against Campbell prior to the Tulsa game. He's from Georgia. He's a true freshman. Horsley, Darian Horsley. He played
Yep.
15 snaps, and they threw at him 3 times. And he only allowed 9 yards. Every one of the passes that were caught on him were behind the line of scrimmage. And then they took him out, and I saw number 11 playing left cornerback, and I was like, DJ Johnson's playing corner, but it was clearly not DJ Johnson because it was Mike Wright. So
Yep.
Mike Wright was playing left corner a couple of snaps. I don't know if that's just something, to humor him, or if that's going to be something that maybe we're going to see more of. We got to figure something out, though.
Yeah, it's with Reason out. Obviously that's a big loss, and he has a fractured fibula, so he's going to be out for at least a month with that injury, at least. And so, this is not going to be a situation that goes away. To your point, like, we have got to find somebody to step up in his absence. And going back to Kyle's point about Lowry, I mean, yeah, now that in the NIL world, when guys are getting paid, look, you can. I think you make a good point. Like, you can be a little more critical of these guys. I mean, and let's face it, he was an FCS All-American. And he is just not. Look, it's a performance business, and he hasn't gotten it done this year. And I'm not sure what it is with him, if it's just a scheme thing, or, some guys just can't make that leap from FCS to FBS. But, and then you look at the true freshman Horsley, who he was a Mississippi State commit at one point. We flipped him, is my understanding. So he's a talented kid. He's got great length. He's 6'2". I would not be concerned with his red shirt. I don't care about red shirts anymore in this portal era. If you have talent, get him on the field early, and let's see what he's got.
No doubt.
You got 4 games you can play in anyway.
Yep, exactly.
So let me ask you a question, Matt. You played linebacker, but you may be able to answer this. With Mike Wright, Mike Wright's a talented guy, but he's played quarterback. Can he learn corner? Obviously, they've been practicing him at corner. They just didn't stick him out there without practicing him at corner. In the next 16 days, can we get him ready? If he's the better choice than the freshman with his talent and speed, can we get him ready to be a starting corner against Temple in 16 days?
God, man, I was thinking the same thing, and that's tough. I mean, that's a lot to ask the guy. Just knowing the schemes. I mean, just knowing the schemes and learning the defense. I think you can use him in very specific packages, right? Like,
right.
Man coverage is probably, he's going to be limited to that at first, I would think.
Good point.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, let him. We know he can run. So if it's a situation where it's a passing down, and we need him to run with a fast wide receiver, I can see in that, but. It's going to be tough, man. I just don't know if you could pick it up that fast.
He's extremely smart. He's got 2 degrees. One of them's from Northwestern, or either Vandy, I forget, or maybe both. And he played quarterback. So from the corner's perspective, in the passing game, he has the mindset to think about it like a cornerback. I don't know. I think it could be interesting. I wish, that would have been something we'd have been working with him from day one, and maybe we have, just on and off, and maybe now it was getting to the point we put him in games. But it'd be interesting to see. Will it be him? Will it be Jordy Lowerly? Will it be Horsley? I want to call him Horsey. But so, or will it be a combination of the 3? But Jordy Lowerly, man, I'm challenging you, dude. You still got time. The season's not over. You were an FCS All-American. I don't know if it's a mental thing or if it's an effort thing or what his deal is, but you're going to get your opportunities in practice this week, and I don't even think he's a practice star because I remember back during the fall
Media
camp,
day.
Yeah, media exactly. You just weren't hearing much about him, and I asked specifically about him to his positions coach, and I did not get a very exciting answer. So I don't think he's a practice star either. So I don't know what's going on with Jordy, but we need somebody to step up there with Reason now. I do like that we have some options. You got Larry, you got the freshman who's extremely talented, and then Mike Wright's extremely talented. So there's some options there, some things we can do. And I'm like you, Jr. I think you're going to use Mike Wright more so in man coverage. The only thing that I would be concerned with that is, are you tipping your hat when you see Mike Wright on the field? All right, that means we're blitzing.
Excellent point, Kyle.
Well,
Hey, did you interview Jordy Lowry at Media Day?
I did, yeah.
Okay, what did you find him to be a little bit like aloof or not interested?
Okay. I thought he was okay. I thought the
Interested?
guy that
Okay.
the guy that if you want to be
Jacques
honest,
Petaway?
Petaway was the guy to me that just did
Yeah, he
not
did.
have a great personality.
Yeah, I agree.
So, but Lowry seemed okay. On the other end, Parker Jenkins was a hell of a nice guy, and I really hope it works out for him here in the long term. Because he's a really nice kid. I say kid, he's in 20 some years old, but just speaking of transfers and likability, Parker Jenkins, not exactly working out so far. He's had his moments. Maybe try Parker. Maybe try Parker Jenkins on some kickoff returns, punt returns. He does have speed, and he's a very likable kid.
Yeah, I really think that I wanted to, Matt, I wanted to get your take, and you guys. I know we've talked a lot about lathering up the running backs and everything, but do you guys think it seems like to me now, like we talked about it, Gunn, Montgomery, 1 and 2, and then you throw in Engelman being a redshirt freshman. He's got plenty of time to. He's dynamite, man. I love him, and then. Maybe somehow you can give Parker Jenkins, I don't know, give him some situations. I don't know, but I know you don't want to play 4 running backs. So I guess
To me, it looked like Dave the other night, and I don't know if Johnny has it in front of him, but it seemed like early in the game we were rotating Engelman and Gunn, and then Montgomery got most of the carries in the second half. Am I right on that, Jr.? Did most of Montgomery's carries come in the second half?
Yeah, it was
50,
exactly as you stated, Kyle.
51, and he had that touchdown was 51, the 51-yarder, and he had what, Johnny, 120 yards off the top of my head.
Yeah, I don't have that stat in front. I don't want to say something that's not accurate, but
okay.
Yeah, in that general area.
Maybe him not seeing the field as much in the first half was motivation for him to run a little harder in the second half. I will say this. I think Engelman has the best vision, and I think long term Engelman's going to be a very good back.
Yeah, I agree 1,000. In fact, Matt, in the world we live in now, you're our transfer portal expert. Man, Engelman is one, and something Johnny. I don't want to steal your thunder, Johnny, but I'm going to give Johnny the credit. Man, in this day and this era right now, you got to be careful with the whole Yannick Smith situation. I don't want to see him transfer. Johnny and I were talking earlier about that, and Johnny brought that up, so I want to give you credit, Johnny. But Matt, what about that? About Engelman and like Yannick Smith, these young guys? We don't want them to be poached if we can help it.
Well, Engelman, one of the things I really like about Engelman too, besides all the things you guys mentioned, is he does not go down easy. He does not go down on first contact. Like, he's surprisingly strong. And that's, so he is a really promising young back. Now, in terms of Yannick, I do worry about him and the portal. I really do. I was worried about it. I think we were all worried about it last year, but especially this year with having certain games where he just doesn't seem to be a part of the game plan. It's definitely a little bit concerning with him. So, yeah, they're going to have to really find ways to get him involved because, as a competitor, you want the ball. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, I mean, if you don't want the ball, then you're probably not a playmaker. And Jordan always wanted the ball. To use an example of someone I hate, but I not utilizing Yannick Smith with his talent is just stupid. I'm sorry, it's just stupid. And again, he was covered by their corner that makes a lot of picks, and I think maybe Hauser was coached in that situation with, like you said, that not much height difference. That unless Yannick was wide open, maybe not throw it to him. So that could have been something he was coached to do in this game. I don't know. Be more creative with him. I don't. Do we ever line Yannick up in the slot like we do Brock and Petaway?
Rarely. I can give you an exact figure if you give me a few minutes, but yeah, rarely.
That's something I'd like to see more out of him too. Is maybe line him up more. Maybe train him more in the slot and try Petaway more outside, because what we're doing with Petaway ain't working.
Yeah, Petaway. I've seen enough. Like we all have, right? Like Brock Spalding is just light years ahead of him right now as a player. I mean, it's not even like Brock Spalding is a really impressive player. Like he's a kid to me that has kind of come out of nowhere this year. Like he really hadn't played too much coming in. He had the off-season situation. I think that was early August where it was like him and a few other guys got in some trouble there.
Him and Carr, and everything was dropped.
Yeah, everything was dropped, thank God. But like at that point, I really was not expecting it much, if anything, from Brock Spalding. And then, man, what a difference he's made in the lineup. I mean, he catches everything. He's tough.
Yeah.
He blocks. He's a what year is he? Is he a junior? Is Brock Spalding? He's a
sophomore, right?
Yeah.
I believe so. He got, and by the way, Matt, he got if you remember, he got hurt last year.
He did.
And and the reason why we're seeing just like Marlon Gunn, the reason why both of them are playing well is they're healthy. People were talking last year about Marlon Gunn. The reason why he wasn't playing well is he wasn't 100%. Not making excuses, because I know everybody plays banged up, but he just wasn't himself because of his injury last year. And the same thing with Spalding was out. So
I'll tell you, the ESPN announcers really like Marlon Gunn. If you go back and watch the Tulsa game, and I noticed it during the Tulane game, they really like the way he runs. I don't know that means anything. It's just an interesting observation.
Yeah. Hey, Kyle, to answer your question, Yannick has been targeted. Yannick has played in the slot 7 plays in 7 games. So, like, once a game, they'll throw him in there. But that's
I would get him in the slot more. And like I say, maybe line Petaway up outside more and just see if that's more successful.
Yeah. So Brock is listed as a redshirt junior. That means he's scholastically a sophomore? I'm not sure. He has 2 years of eligibility left, I would think.
Yeah,
he's a redshirt junior. He has 2 years of eligibility. No, this year, next year.
Yep,
that's it.
So I thought I'm not bad.
So.
You know what? No, he's a true junior because he actually came here in 22. It doesn't seem that long ago.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so he took a red shirt in 22.
Yeah, so hopefully we hang on to him for next year, and he doesn't want to go chase his Power 4 dreams. But these are topics that are good to discuss this week about transfer portal and stuff, because besides reviewing the Tulsa game, it's their game this week. We got we'll do like Ruffin McNeil said and beat off before we play Temple. But
I'll tell you. Go ahead. Matt, I had another stat for you, and Johnny, I don't know. Will you talk? We got you coming up next, Johnny, with the insider stuff. But if you want to, you guys good with that?
Yeah, I don't. It shouldn't be exclusively me. If anybody, I'll just throw some stuff out there and welcome comments. But I don't have a lot.
All right, Matt. Here's one for me, because you know how much I love defense. Oh, we lost Matt, but I'll throw it to you guys, and then when Matt comes back. But we had 10 TFLs. And 5 sacks on Thursday night. And for me, I love to get that quarterback, and I love those TFLs, man. The tackles for loss are just great. So want to get your thoughts on that.
We're
Yeah,
fourth
and
in
it's
the nation. I'm sorry, Kyle. We're
no,
fourth
go
in the
ahead.
nation in tackles for loss. And here's who we're in company with: Oklahoma, Indiana, Tennessee, Texas A&M. I mean, those are the teams that are in our in that area, in that neighborhood. And we're averaging 8.29 sacks per game. I mean, tackles for loss per game. And we've, erased 198 yards through the tackles for loss. So it's an outstanding effort there by the defense for sure.
Yeah,
And
Matt,
at times the other night, those tackles for loss came at key moments. Tackle for loss is always a good thing, but I can remember, if I'm remembering right, guys, it seemed like when they cut it to 7, that did we get a big sack on that following drive? It seems like on third down. Am I remembering right?
I think Preston Carr got one.
Carr did, yeah.
Yeah.
Preston
Yeah.
Okay.
Carr.
Yeah.
So yeah, they've come at key times, and so no, that's good to see, and that's a hell of a company to be in, Jr. The schools you just mentioned are elite programs, and so that's
So, Kyle, you're
really good scheming by Josh Aldridge and by Blake Harrell in these pressure packages.
Hey, Kyle, so
Yeah.
you're saying schools like us?
Yeah, schools like us, exactly.
We're elite. Matt, what I was saying, and I guess you dropped out, is I was pitching it to you because you know how much I love defense. We had 10 TFLs and 5 sacks in Thursday night's game.
Yeah. I mean, it was great to see sacks. And, I thought we were really good on short yardage against the run. I think, that back for Tulsa, fellas, he is a bruiser. I mean, that kid's 215 pounds, and he is a tough back to bring down.
Yeah.
Dominic, I can't think of his last name. His first name's Dominic. But, I thought we did a very good job there. I thought we created a lot of negative plays, and, you saw who was it? It was Craig have two balls batted down as well, and those are big plays. So really, solid performance. Now I thought they hit some plays that that Trey Lamb, and this goes back to what I think Kyle mentioned earlier. He is a very good coach. I was really impressed with some of the things that he did offensively, just scheming us up and sort of like manipulating our defense to get players wide open. So he's going to be one to watch out for in the future. But, he got us on some plays, but then, you also saw we were able to create those negative plays too. So,
Hey, before we stop talking about that, I'm going to give a shout out to a local, Ryan Roseboro, who had one and a half. Yeah, he had 1.5 sacks, and he only had like 20 snaps. I mean, like, he doesn't get a lot of playing time, but they put him in there. He got himself a 1.5 sacks, so good for him.
What year is he, Johnny? I was reading those stats, and I was like,
Okay, so in case anyone hadn't figured this out yet, I'm not your man for what year anybody is, because that's not me. I'm not sure, Dave. I'm not sure.
All right, because I was like, wow, this kid, like, if he's been in the program for a while, then maybe it's where he's getting this opportunity. But that's a name. When I was going through the stats and looking through, I was excited to see a new name and didn't know he was a local. But
I think he's got 2 years left, Dave.
2 years? Okay.
Yep.
All right, that's cool because Matt, when can I throw that stat out? I was telling you, Johnny, and I've told Kyle, I want to get Matt's reaction on this. The coaching stat I was telling you about.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so Matt, check this out. You know how much we love Blake Harrell, and no, we don't get paid to to say how much we love him. But from the first 13 games, if you're going back to last year when he was interim as coach, Blake Harrell is 9-4. He's second all time. You have to go all the way back to John Christenberry, a guy that coached the Pirates, their only undefeated season, 7-0. And Johnny, I think it was 1941. We've only had one undefeated season. And Matt, you're going to love this. John Christenberry coached not only football, basketball, and yes, baseball. The man coached 3 sports. That tells you how far back you have to go. But that's the I know that stats are what they are, but still, when you look at that number of the first 13 games, he's won 9 of them. And you have to go all the way back to 1940, 41, somewhere around there. Then that should tell you something.
It's a pretty awesome stat. I mean, look, from the day he took over, and we removed Mike Houston, this program has taken a positive step forward, or several steps forward, in my opinion. So he's doing a great job. I mean, he's doing a great job. I think he needs to keep building it. Another great recruiting class, I think, will help. And obviously taking advantage of the NIL. But yeah, man, that's a hell of a start.
Hey Matt, I'm going to throw this out there to everybody. I spoke to Dave about this earlier. To me, it just feels like Blake has been in Eastern North Carolina's entire life. He just seems like he's just a local, and we're fortunate to have him. But doesn't it come across that way? Like this is his, his turf, and he's always been here.
Well, he's a mountain boy, and he's from North Carolina. Mike Houston, same area Mike Houston was. Blake just seems more down to earth than Mike. I mean, so there's not a lot of difference culturally from the mountains to Eastern North Carolina. There's a big difference, but then there isn't also. While we do a lot of things differently, it is still very similar culturally, and so I think Blake fits in well. I'll tell you, and maybe this is an observation that I've had, and I don't know how to word this right, but does it seem, and I don't mean this in a negative way at all, does it seem like Blake Harrell doesn't have as much of a presence as Mike Houston? It seemed like Mike Houston was a big presence, like everything revolved around him. Whereas Blake, he just doesn't seem to have it. I don't mean that in a negative way, and it's because it sounds negative.
More laid back. He's more laid back.
It's just like it's just like he's. And I know somebody criticized him. I don't remember if it was on this show or I think it was on Pirate Radio. It was on Pirate Radio about him not allowing his coordinators to speak, and where Mike Houston did. I actually think it's a good thing. I think he's taking all the heat. Anything that's negative, it goes to him.
Correct.
He's protecting his coaches, and I think that's why he's doing that.
That's correct.
I think as a coordinator, for several years he probably didn't like having to answer questions. He thought the head coach should have been taking all the bullets, and so that's what he's doing. But I just it just seems like his presence doesn't overshadow the program. I guess is what I'm trying to say. And another thing, speaking of presence,
that's very well said. No, I think that's really well said. I think you're definitely onto something there, and I know exactly what you're trying to say. He just, yeah, and it's not a negative at all. But I think it's more like whenever, and I'm just chiming in on this, Kyle. I'll shut up and let you finish your point.
No, go ahead.
When he talks, he always talks about how it's about us. It's about Greenville. It's about the players, the coaches. He makes it. I think that's the way he makes it. And I think Mike Houston's ego often got the best of him, and it was more about him. So I love that about Blake, just like you guys do. And, he's look, 13 games in, I think we're all really happy with the hire. But I'll let you finish up, man.
I was kind of finished with that point. I was just going to kind of make another observation. Does John Gilbert still work here? I haven't seen John Gilbert on the field for anything. I haven't seen him interacting with the student section. I haven't seen him on we have Ryan Robinson on the Jumbotron reminding everybody to join the revenue sharing program. But I was just curious if John Gilbert still works here. And I know he's got to, rub elbows with the bigwigs and, get donations. But, somebody made this point on Pirate Radio, and it's something I had thought. There's no presence there. And I remember, for the students, I remember the first year of Night of the Boneyard, we had giveaways for the students. They gave away stuff. I don't know if you guys remember that.
They gave away like iPads and stuff.
Yes. And I was like, why aren't we doing that? Why that's a way to get and do all them damn giveaways in the second half. Why didn't we do that the other night? Stay in the second half. You can win iPads. You can win a laptop. You can win $200 gift card to Starbucks or whatever the kids like these days. I don't understand. Night of the Boneyard was literally just the name. They did nothing. And I'm not trying to be overcritical of the atmosphere. I like the fireworks, like the new entrance. I love doing a blackout, but to me, they did not. There was like even the halftime show. I was like, well, is this friggin' Night of the Boneyard? Why aren't we doing like Thriller and the Monster Mash? And it was friggin' songs by Taylor Swift and the Beatles. And what the hell does this have to do with Night of the Boneyard? If you're gonna do a gimmick, if you're gonna do a theme, go all out with it. I mean, I just didn't understand any of that. I don't know why we didn't do the giveaways again to keep the students there for the second half, and why we didn't go, more on the theme. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe nobody else cares about that kind of stuff. And another thing about atmosphere, the third down songs. Quit rotating third down songs. I heard two the other night. Either one that would work permanently. Pantera, Walk. We played that on one third down. That would be great. Metallica, Fuel. We played that on one third down. That would be great. And there was one more that we played. We played something different every time, but there was two or three we played the other night that just stick with one of those. Stop this rotating third down crap.
Alan Vick, you owe me $20. We bet each other. I said on the playback, Kyle's going to be talking about the rotation of songs from third down. So
yeah, it drives me
it
crazy.
was ridiculous. I said it's so bad. I said it's so bad now that I'm paying attention to third down songs, and
and the ones that work, you can tell. Fuel by Metallica, Walk by Pantera. Nobody, to my knowledge, uses Walk. That's a badass song. I mean, they use that on one third down. Use that every time. Does everybody agree? Does everybody go with Walk by Pantera?
I know what you're talking
think
about.
it's a suggestion. I mean, you got to stick with something.
Matt, do you not know that song? Is that what it is?
No, I do. I'm just trying to think how I would rank that or where I would put it. But yeah, no, I think it's a good suggestion.
They used it the other night, and Fuel's good, but Pantera Walk is better. I mean, listen to the lyrics. Do you know the lyrics to the song? I mean, it fits so well.
Bubba has. Hey guys, I want to add this really quick. Bubba has a great point because I love the involvement of former players, Hart, Stones, and Marley, but the way we're doing the pregame purple and gold cheer isn't getting it. And I think what it is with the purple gold cheer is that if it was scripted,
everybody mute yourself. There's a bad echo.
I think it's Matt. He just muted himself.
There you go, Matt.
I was just going to say, really, I think the concept is correct, but the scripting of that segment, if you will, because they script everything, or they're supposed to, but the whole thing is it's the right idea, but I don't. The purple gold cheer is very awkward. Maybe that's word.
Yeah, do it this way. Tell whoever it is, whether Scott Harley or the Hart Twins or Billy Bob Thornton or anybody. Just tell them, do this, guys. If you want to, we're going to give you time. If you want to say something, say it. But then say this. So you Kyle from LaGrange doing the purple and gold cheer. All right, Pirate Nation. When I say purple, you say purple. When I say gold, you say gold. On 3, 1, 2, 3. Purple. Gold. That's how you do it.
Okay. I like it. Yeah, no doubt. And I will say, Matt.
That's how Kyle do it.
Yeah, that would be fun. Hey, Matt, by the way, I can't wait for you to see I know you're a former player and the Scales Fieldhouse. And I'm critical about the administration, but I really love the premium tailgate area is awesome with the tent, and they have a band every single pregame now. Like it was a 7:30 game, they had it like for 2 hours, 5 to 7. Any fan can come up there and watch the band play. I've said it a few times, but I really, really like that. I'm a history guy and I love Scales Fieldhouse. But what they did with that space is turned out to be, I think, really good for the game day atmosphere and stuff for game day. I really like that. Have y'all seen it?
I had no idea that they were playing music. I mean, we missed the Freeboot Fridays.
Or is that a student thing?
No, it's for the bands they've had so far are definitely not students. They've had the Embers. They've had Spare Change
from LaGrange.
and they had the main event band from Greenville. But they've had good bands, but it's like a 2-hour window, and they stop, which is great, 30 minutes before the game starts. So not to get too deep into that, but I just want to we're objective. When they do something good, the administration is going to get credit as much as we can on this show.
The fireworks are great. It's another thing.
Yes.
I love the added fireworks. I do think it's dumb that they only shoot the fireworks off at times on one side of the stadium, just on the north side, or excuse me, the south side. Do it on both sides. I know at the end of the game they did them on the south side and in the end zone. But I do love the fireworks. That's a good thing. The drone show the other week was great. I'd love to see that again. So yeah, they do some good things. Everything's not negative in terms of what they do. Look, in game day production, maybe it's something that interests me, and probably Dave's second, more than Jr. and Matt. Game day production, I sit there and I literally want to do it. I sit there, I want to, in terms of running things the way things should be done. I in my mind, I'm like, just do it this way, do it that way.
There's one problem.
What's that?
You do have great ideas. I'm not knocking you on the ideas. So let me preface, but you got to be in the press box. You got to be in tailgate tower to do it.
I can do it from the field level. I'll just give me a headset, baby. I'll be like a coach.
Okay.
But and something, and also I think not everybody loves Morgan. I love Morgan. I think Morgan does a great job, and I think our video board operator, whoever does that, is one of the best in the business. I think we're fantastic with replays. The video is always live in sync with the game. So those are things that we do really well and have been doing really well.
Can I pile on?
Yeah.
And give some more accolades?
Sure.
Yes.
Hey, as far as I can remember, I mean, the Tulsa game was the first time that they let Purple Haze reach its crescendo before they turned it off.
I noticed that too.
Yeah, it was. It's the way it should be done, and hopefully they'll keep that up going forward.
Kyle from LaGrange, Cam. Bubba, what are we
talking about for your?
You want to watch me live during the game?
Yeah, but you'll be kissing your wife, so it'll be fine.
Yeah, well, I mean that's fine. I don't know what Bubba, I'm actually this year I've been pretty mild at the games.
Hey Kyle, you haven't thrown a chair yet.
You know what? Here's a quick story for you, Ben. You mentioned that, and we'll get back to the Tulsa game. But so it wasn't even a loss. The closest I ever came to throwing a chair. All right. So I for those who don't know, I sit on the north side of the handicap ramp. So I sit in a fold chair. So when we beat Marshall in overtime in 2000, was that 8 or 9? 2008. We beat Marshall in overtime in Greenville.
Yeah.
We also beat them in overtime in Greenville in 12, but this is 8. I was so mad that during that game there was this guy, a Marshall fan, and we got in an argument, and I got so mad. Then we beat them in overtime. I was so just like angry, happy. I picked up my chair and just about threw. I had to stop I was like, "What the hell am I doing?" I was throwing my chair to the field. I was 20. I was 28 years old. Keep that in mind. But I almost did that one time, and it was with a friggin' wind.
The only reason, and Kyle, I wasn't picking on you for that. I got in a conversation about Bobby Knight throwing the chair for the third technical. Do you remember that, Matt?
Everybody does.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so I was talking about, we'll talk about Indiana later, but I was getting to the point of, is Indiana a football school or a basketball school now? And I said, they haven't been relevant in basketball since Bobby Knight. I said, the dude threw a chair across the court. And that's why, and some of the younger guys didn't know, that's why we only have 2 technicals. It used to be 3. And because of Bobby Knight throwing that chair, they knocked it down to 2 because that was the one that let him get an early shower. But anyway, I wanted to make my point, Kyle.
I did almost do that one time, and it was with a friggin' win.
I was totally joking because of that.
I mean, I would pay to see Kyle throw a chair in the stadium. I would actually pay for your ticket to see it. So yeah,
I probably wouldn't be allowed back in the stadium after that, man. So
sorry, we'll find a way. We'll find a way.
We'll find a way to get you back in. And Kyle loves wrestling like I do. So throwing a chair or hitting somebody with a chair is Nothing new. Matt, as far as going back, let's get back to the game. I don't want to digress.
For those listening, I'm not advocating Kyle hurting anybody with a chair. Just for the record, if there's any little kids listening, I'm joking.
Don't try this at home. Yeah,
Yeah.
Matt. So the Tulsa game, the 41 points. I know, Johnny, I agree that we should score more on them, but I was happy that I just want to go back to that. I was happy we scored 41 points. That makes me very happy because, as you remember, Kyle, you talked about with Phil Steele saying, what was it, 31 points a game we would average?
It's like 31 and a half, yeah.
Yeah, so that's if you go by the Phil Steele average, we're above average. Johnny, what is our
Here's what I was going to say about that is we're playing in the American, man. The average margin of victory is 19.1 points per game. South Florida is averaging 30-point games. They're 3-0. They've outscored their opponents by 90 points. We just have to score more points. I mean, I'm talking about Tulsa. And Tulsa scored double of what they normally score against a conference opponent. So, I mean, we got it both ways. I mean, you got to take advantage when you have bad teams. And right now, I love Trey Lamb. I know he's going to turn it around, but they're just not a good team.
Right.
Hey, do you know, here's another thing. Go ahead, Kyle.
Who, besides Memphis, because I specifically remember Tulsa playing Memphis, who else in conference has Tulsa played prior to us?
Navy.
Okay.
Tulane.
There you go. So they've played the best teams in the conference. So I don't think we're on level with South Florida. I think South Florida and Navy are the two best teams in the league after what happened with Memphis yesterday. How good we are, how good we can be, I think that's going to be determined. Not necessarily determined, because we could lose to Temple, then roll off the next 4 in a row. But this Temple game coming up in 2 weeks, Temple's playing really good football. They're 4-3 now. Also, most likely will be 5-3 after next week. They'll be playing for bowl eligibility most likely against us when we go to Philadelphia. So we're going to have to play, in my opinion, our best game of the year to beat Temple. Now, we can easily do that. We don't have to play perfect to beat Temple by any means. But if we play defense, like we're capable of, and take advantage of red zone opportunities, but we haven't beaten. No, I'm about to say we haven't been a good team, and that's not true. Army's good, and so's Coastal. I don't think Coastal was good when we played them, but they've gotten good as the season's gone on. So we do have 2 good wins, actually. Just maybe didn't seem like it at the time. But in terms of, Temple, I will say this: what I do like about the Temple game, I don't want to get too far ahead because still a couple weeks till we play them. We got 16 days to play for Temple. That's going to be their 5th game in a row when we play them. So we could be playing a tired football team, or we could be playing a team hitting their stride. But I think everybody at some point gets tired. Last year for us, it was against Charlotte. And I think we could be hitting Temple at the right time, particularly after being off 16 days. I hope.
Well, take notice, though, of Evan Simon. He's thrown 16 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and he's had 300-yard games twice in his last couple games. So he doesn't throw a lot of passes either. Huh?
He doesn't have a huge arm, does he, JR?
No, he doesn't throw downfield a lot at all. So it's more of like a West Coast offense. He's just
It could be another Tulane type game. Concentrate on. And I know Temple's been good in the red zone, but I could really see us, having the strategy of bend but don't break, take away the run, let them throw underneath, and then protect the red zone for that game.
Sounds good.
Yeah. I mean, talk about a great turnaround. I mean, that was a dead program last year. I mean, that program was horrendous.
Dude is a great coach.
Yeah, he is a great coach. And to that point, a lot of really good coaches in this league. And Trey Lamb is going to he's going to have that Tulsa. Watch out for Tulsa, man. I'm just telling you, that is going to be a scary program in 2 years when he gets it to where he wants it. But certainly Temple, what a turnaround there. And anytime you go play in that empty horrific, embarrassing
Hey, they drew well for Navy 2 weeks ago.
stadium. Yeah, they did, but weren't those all Navy fans? Weren't those all the?
No, it was. I would say it was 60-40 Temple, but Navy's crowd did help them. But I think when they start winning, I think the problem with Temple is that stadium is so damn big, and Philadelphia is very much, it's a city,
It's
and
approaching.
they're above the Eagles, but they will get behind Temple when they're winning. So I would expect if it's good weather, maybe get 30,000 in there for the East Carolina game. I think
30?
we'll take.
You think so?
I
Wow.
think
30,000.
it's possible. Yeah, I think when
Wow.
they're winning, they fans show up. Go look back when they've had good seasons. When they're winning, fans show up. They've been god awful the last few years.
So
I
we're
mean,
talking
Um,
the
if they
Mountain
get
Glory.
30, I'd be impressed. I mean, you think about it, that's like what we get now. So it's
we guess we get on Thursday.
that's a
what we get
little
on
subtle
Thursday.
jab at the
Hey, speaking of that, crowds, yesterday, just briefly, I was in Boone, and so I was at a Italian restaurant, and they had the game on in there, and app was up, and I left there. We went walking in downtown Boone, Jessica and some friends of ours, and I see app fans, starting to hit the streets, and I asked this dude, well, past me, hey man, what was the final? And he just ignores me and keeps on walking. I was like, well, prick. And these two young ladies, I see them walking by, and say, hey girls, what was the final? She goes, it was bad. I said, how bad you beat them? She said, no. I mean, it was bad. They came back and beat us 45-37. So not too long after that, we got in the truck and we're headed back to, it doesn't matter where we're headed to, but we were driving near campus and saw fans walking back to their vehicles. And it's just so interesting. When you're an East Carolina fan and you're leaving an ECU game, you're so locked in on you lost, so you're a part of it, so you're seeing it internally, you feel it yourself. So when you're leaving an ECU game and you lost, you feel it. Or down at Coastal when we left there, I was in the moment, so I was happy that we won. I wasn't paying any attention to the Coastal fans, but it was so unique watching from a objective perspective, watching the disappointment and the Coast and the App State's fans losing on homecoming. It was a sellout against Coastal. That was a dejected fan base. It was just so interesting not being emotionally invested to see that just from a human perspective. There was a lot of it just kind of makes you take a step back, and God knows who knows that I would say this, but it kind of makes you take a step back when you look at it from an objective perspective and see how upset they are. And God knows I'll do the same thing again for East Carolina. But at the end of the day, it's just a game, and it's funny how we'll let it ruin our day or ruin our weekend, but we will. And I think that's a bad thing and a good thing. I think with college football, there's no other passion like it in sports, maybe with the exception of European soccer. Um, but not NFL, not Major League Baseball. There's nothing that's like a true passionate college football fan base. And when you lose, it hurts. So it was just an interesting observation looking at it, not being emotionally invested, watching their fans.
yeah, and let's just kind of get, since we're talking about this, let's kind of like jump into the sort of lack of attendance issues. Now, I know it's obviously these Thursday night games. I know it's tough, but I can tell you, like, now obviously, look, I don't get to go to these games too often.
Now
Living,
look at you. You
so
can't if you're not going to show up. You can't even say anything, Matt. I mean, you could take your Learjet from Connecticut. There's no excuse.
God, if I had one, I'd be at every game.
You
But
know,
like,
he would be there. Oh my God.
the thing is, like, people notice that stuff. Like, people are noticing now what's going on at ECU with the lack of crowds, and I have a lot of people mention it to me that watch these games on ESPN, and like it definitely jumps out at you. Like, we're used to seeing great crowds at Dowdy Ficklin, and look, let me just preface this by saying, like, this is not a knock on the diehards. Like, we have 15,000 diehards who will come hell or high water. They're going to be in that stadium, and that's you guys. That's you know who you are. So I'm not knocking any of those people. It's the people in addition to that who, it's when you're playing a conference game, you're winning. It's a beautiful night. You got the night of the Boneyard thing, and you come out at halftime with a lead, and the 90% of the crowd is gone. to
Well,
the
what
point
pissed
where
me off about
to
it,
the point
Matt,
where
is
the commentators on ESPN are talking about it. I mean,
Tell you what,
it's now getting to the point where it's very noticeable, and that was always our calling card. So that's a little tough to watch.
I'll tell you
well,
what it is. I'll tell you, there's two things going on. Well, three. Kyle's already hit on the one that where there are a lot of people that are not coming on a Thursday night game. We have too many Thursday night games. Number one, it's become to the point where it used to be Thursday night during your era, Matt, was special. Now it doesn't mean anything. Number one, it is nice to get our paycheck from the Americans, so I know they dictate that. The second thing is with the students. I don't know this, but my gut is it was driving me nuts not to see fans in the stands on Thursday night. Okay, so let me say that. But I will say this: one thing that is bothering me about college football is, my God, it is like four. It was our game Thursday night was 4 hours long. That's way too long. And my baseball, and I love, by the way, Trey Savage is up four. They're up 4-0 right now. He's doing great for the Blue Jays. They're getting ready to do. If they keep this up, they're going to punch their ticket to the World Series. But anyway, baseball got it right with the pitch.
they already sped the game up. I mean, the ball doesn't stop anymore. When you go out of bounds or anything like that till the 2 minute timeout. So
Four
they've already
hours
sped
long.
it up.
It was 4 hours long.
Yeah, I
I
know,
mean,
but I don't know what you. I mean, do you want a nonstop running clock? I don't know what you could do about
well,
it.
the replay was ridiculous. That was
Well, yeah,
that
that's a
was
good point. There's a good point.
There's
yeah, that
stuff.
was a long time for nothing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe put a time limit on replays. There was one point in the game that it wasn't even a replay. It was late in the game, and the officials just stood there talking in the middle of the field for,
Yeah.
I
That's what I
bet
was
you,
referring to.
10 minutes. It wasn't even a replay. They just
Right.
stood there talking. I was like, if you're look, make your dinner plans before the game. What are you doing? I don't. It just stood there. So from that aspect, yeah, you could. That's the way to speed the game up. But beyond that, I don't know what you can do. Um, as far as speed the game up, the
The commercials, fellas. The commercials on TV.
yeah, there's nothing you can do about that. I mean,
Yeah.
that's it is what it is. So as far as the getting the students to stay, yeah,
4 hours
I think this current generation is just a bunch of wusses. To be a bottom line,
I
and
think here's the. Well, I was
the other
Yeah.
thing is I do think I go back to what I said with Night of the Boneyard. Look, you're going to need Thursday night games. It's important the students stay because people with jobs that live out of town can't. So how about this? How about vocally John Gilbert again? Do you still work here? How about say, students, we need your asses in the stands. We need if you're going to come stay to the end, and then give them incentive. Hey, second half, Night of the Boneyard, we're doing giveaways, win iPads, win MacBooks. Win, like I said, win gift cards. Give incentives for them to stay. Because what we used to talk about is the SEC atmosphere. What we've had on Thursday night this year is a MAC atmosphere, and the 30,000 people they were there at the beginning of the game. It was a 10-point game at halftime, a 10-point game. It wasn't a 25-point lead, a 10-point game. And people left. I
Yeah,
mean,
they're leaving. Also, another thing, guys, is crazy, but they're leaving to go to the tailgate more, and a lot of them.
Oh,
I could put it into that in a hurry.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
could put it into
Dave.
that.
Dave, you nailed that. I was going to make that comment that I do go out at halftime to the tailgate, but I go back. Obviously, I go back in, but it's a very crowded tailgate area, and some of those people have no intentions of going back in that stadium.
How hard
you
is it to
another-
sneak in airplane bottles? I mean, is it really that hard? I mean,
What
I
is
mean,
that?
Yeah.
I don't. What are they? I don't understand that. Like,
they got to
I'm,
drink hard liquor because beer ain't good enough.
Hey, don't put me in that class.
I'm just saying that's what most people do.
but they
Sneak
don't
in
come
there.
back in. That's really interesting. I mean, what? Like,
They're imbeciles. Look, I could put a stop to that in
I
a
don't
hurry.
understand it. They want to drink that much. You want to drink that much alcohol that
I
you
could put a
can't.
stop to that in a hurry. No loitering. No loitering. Once the game starts, no loitering in the parking lots. Boom.
It doesn't make any. You know what the problem is? The four of us we're diehards, right? Like, we don't see things the way the casual fan does, and
No, I
like
know. I
that.
know one guy that
There's some people
claims
that
to
don't
be a
even make it in.
diehard. And I know one guy that claims to be a diehard. I'm not going to name any names, but he claims to be a diehard. And may have been associated with the show at times that I don't even think comes in for the games. He just goes and tailgates. So I have no respect for that at all.
Here's the
None
thing,
whatsoever.
and here's another thing, guys, and Matt, you'll appreciate this as a competitor. I truly believe in my heart, December the 4th of this year makes 10 years ago when Ruff and McNeil got fired. I'm telling you guys that we don't have the winning culture like we did when Matt was here. And we have people that are expect to lose and leave, and it's
Well, we ain't losing.
no, no, no. I know what I'm saying is I realize we're not losing, and I agree with you what you're saying 1,000%. I'm just telling you, if we start winning 8, 9, 10 ball games a year, those people will stay.
Well, I think one thing we've done is lost a generation. I think with some folks that are dead now or just too old to come to the games anymore.
That's correct.
And and I think because of all the losing under Scotty Montgomery and the build it took under Houston, and then COVID, I think some fans never came back after that season. I think all that stuff's been a compounded effect, and I think we've lost a generation of fans that, hopefully we'll start building them back up. Hopefully the kids that are coming now will experience a winning culture. Hopefully these students that are only staying until halftime will eventually get it in their blood that they want to stay till the end. We need that's something I talked about it last year, and I talked about it. I'll talk about it again this year. We had our moment at the bowl game last year in Annapolis. That was a moment. Fans rushed the field. We beat NC State. But we have not had a moment in Dowdy-Ficklen Stadium since 2018 against North Carolina. We beating Memphis in overtime in 22, was a pretty cool moment. But we need a moment again, whether that's, maybe Memphis gets hot and beats South Florida and Tulane these next few weeks, and they're back in the top 25, Johnny. And we beat them, and that's our moment. Uh, we need a moment. We need something special. You don't want to have to pick Charlotte on a field goal and that be our moment. But we need a big last second win to ignite this fan base for students to rush the field. We need a special moment in Dowdy-Ficklen again, and like I said, maybe we'll get that opportunity. And I think, look, with the way Charlotte's beaten us the last 2 years, and that being homecoming, I think just beating them, I think the students will enjoy that. We better handle our business. But we really do. I don't know if you guys agree with this. I think that could really ignite these students and all a special moment in Ficklen.
No doubt. And by the way, Matt, your favorite school is coming to Dowdy-Ficklen on November 8th. So I'm hoping, is there any way you can come down for?
That is a possibility. Yeah, that is a possibility.
Oh my God. Okay. Can I tell you guys, I'm going to do a hot take right now, and you're going to kick me off the show. But I'm going to tell you right now, Johnny knows where I'm going with this. I'm going out on a limb. The Pirates are going to go undefeated in November. Just watch. And it starts with that Temple is going to be a great win. And look, the Temple is a 5th win. And Matt, you're going to come to the game. It's homecoming. We're going to beat Charlotte, and we're going to be bowl eligible. You write it down, November the 8th. So,
I hope you're right, Dave. If we go undefeated in November, that's 9-3.
Yeah.
So I hope you're right. I'm not calling that, but I hope you're right.
I'm the Lone Ranger. I just have a feeling.
No, you're not the Lone Ranger.
Okay, good.
I still, I'm an optimist, man. I still feel like we got a shot. You don't have to finish first. You just got to finish in the top 2 to make it to the championship game. And I just feel like that Memphis loss kind of hurt us a little bit because, we have to win out. I mean, if we have any chance of winning the title or making the championship game. And so Memphis losing yesterday kind of, I hated it because now we're not going to have a top 20 team coming in to Dowdy-Ficklen. And if we would have beat them and they won all their other games, then we would have a tiebreaker against another one-loss team. But right now, South Florida looks invincible. And the only hard game they have left is at Navy. I mean, that's it. So I think
Memphis.
Well, yeah, I have them as 3-1. I'm sorry. I'm looking at the stats I put down. I have them. All the lines are out for next week, and Memphis is a 3.5-point favorite. So I put down Memphis winning that game and putting USF at 3-1.
Oh, were they doing the look ahead? Is that UAB fires their head coach, so they're fired up. Was Memphis doing the look ahead to South Florida? I don't.
Well, I don't think so. Well, first of all, UAB started a guy that threw one quarter. He threw one pass in his career. He'd never played. Threw one pass, and Kitna was hurt. So Kitna had a lower body injury, so he couldn't play. They started this kid. That made it even that all that much more unbelievable. But then Memphis, their quarterback got hurt in the first quarter. So, the line hasn't changed. It's still 3.5. It was 3.5 before the game. It's 3.5
How bad
after
was
the
the
game.
injury?
Well, I'm having a hard, you know how it is getting college injury information is much more difficult than NFL
I'm
injury
sure he'll be out until the
information.
East Carolina game.
You know what's interesting, guys? Sorry, Dan, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just
No,
gonna
you
finish real
didn't. I
quick.
was done.
When you see all right, so as you're looking through the lines each week, right, and you see a team, and this happens in the NBA all the time too. But you see a team fire their coach, right? So you look at Penn State, you look at UCLA a few weeks ago, you look at UAB, right? And usually you'll see the line looks a little suspect, and you're wondering what the hell is going on with this line. Well, teams rally when a coach gets fired, and the fact that UAB won that game yesterday is stunning. It might be one of the most stunning games of the entire season.
I did not realize their quarterback went out in the first quarter. That is
No,
to me.
UAB's quarterback never went out.
No, Memphis.
Oh yeah,
quarterback.
Memphis. Yeah, Memphis's quarterback did go out in the first quarter.
That to me makes that does two things. It makes the upset make a lot more sense too if he's back and they beat South Florida in Tulane. I think they'll get a lot more credit, and they'll go as far as the rankings, and the pollsters will go, well, the only reason they lost to UAB is because their quarterback was out. So I don't know.
It's still staggering, though, right? I mean, the fact that
until I found out their quarterback went out, that makes it way less staggering to me. I didn't get to see any of that game, and I didn't realize that. So it makes it way less staggering.
How about?
I mean, Trent Dilfer must have been on. I was joking around with you guys. I said Trent Dilfer was. They spotted him on the Green Street Bridge last night. He was ready to jump. I mean,
he's probably like Mike Houston. Mike Houston, took. He preseason they asked him how he thought East Carolina would do, and he said, they have a chance because of everything I put in place there.
Oh God,
yeah.
Oh.
Well, to be fair,
he did hire Blake Harrell.
He hired Blake Harrell. He did get good coaches. He did get talent. The problem with Mike Houston was he didn't get. That's one of the things I was mentioning about Blake Harrell, and I didn't want to go on and on, but I will say this: Blake Harrell knows how to relate to the players. A few weeks ago, I was talking to Preston Carr's dad. He was bragging about how great that Blake was and how good he was to Preston. And Preston had a great relationship, thought highly of him. And
Preston Carr knocked the shit out of somebody the other night.
Yeah. Did you like my question, Kyle? About the kid in the candy store?
What?
So when we were in the all right, listen. So you didn't listen to the press conference. When the post-game press conference, I asked Preston Carr. I said in the press box, we were all talking how the defense. It looked like the players were having fun and like a kid in the candy store because they were just, mauling people. And he talked about the Tootsie Roll. You didn't hear about that?
No, I didn't. I never listen to player interviews. I don't listen to a lot of post game stuff. Period. I'll listen to Blake Harrell's comments, and I'm done with post game. I'm one of those people, except for doing this. When the game's over, I'm ready to move on to the next one, win or lose.
No doubt, but
24-hour rule.
Another thing,
I'm still living by the Ruff and McNeil days.
There you go. Another thing, Matt. By the way, I want to mention to you is Blake Harrell. This is a guy who walks in Brian Bailey's live shot and said, it caught Brian Bailey off guard. And he said, I had to walk over here because I saw a legend. And he was interacting with Brian Bailey on a Thursday night live shot. He didn't have to do that, but that just shows the classy guy that he is, down to earth, joking around. And that's what the players are responding to, as a guy who's short in practice. I heard this from players and inside sources, by the way, that under Houston, they felt like they would get severely punished if they were making a mistake. So they're playing, like we talked about before, Matt, tight. And with they're saying that they're out there having fun. They're saying they enjoy practice. That could be good or bad depending on who the coach is, but he's still hard on them. but he's able to relate to them where they're seeing, oh, we're winning, and so good for him.
Yeah, it's just smart coaching, and so a lot of coaches don't get it. I mean, they just don't like. They want to have these 4-hour marathon practices, and they're literally just running their players into the ground. So the thing is about short practice. There's nothing wrong with a short practice, but you have to be efficient. You just
Right.
have to get your work in, and you get off the field, and that's what it's about. Like, it's all about efficiency, how much you can get done in a short period of time. And Blake gets that, to your point. And the thing is, look, we couldn't have a better ambassador for ECU and and Greenville. I mean, every interview you hear Blake, he's talking about what a great college town it is, how much support we get. So yeah, I'm a big Blake fan, and I'm really hoping that he has a great tenure here and a long tenure. I hope it turns out to be a great long tenure for him. So time will tell.
Speaking of coaches, we had 2 coaches fired, including today Billy Napier. You heard of that guy, Matt?
Oh boy, yeah. I'll tell you, Florida fans can be a little wacky. They have no problem running a coach off, but at the same time, he didn't do a great job there. And it's always a little strange to me to fire a coach off of a win.
Yeah.
Why you do it last week?
Right. I mean, but it does. I think it just gets to the point, and the same thing in Happy Valley with Franklin. It gets to a point where you can't salvage it. And, personally, I would have given Napier another week. But that's the way it goes. Good for him. Hey, he's gonna have a great, enjoyable life with those millions coming in.
Hey, Kyle, I want to get y'all's thought really quick on this. It may be too soon, but what about he's coached the SEC before. He just got fired, speaking of which. What about Matt, you're close to the Florida program because of Chrissy. What about a James Franklin in the SEC at Florida? Do you think he would work or not?
The problem with James Franklin at Florida is that when he was at Penn State, he was 1-18 against top 10 teams. And now you're going to put him in the SEC.
It'll be worse.
Where you're playing top 10 teams almost every week. That, I think, is the issue.
You're right, Matt. But he did coach at Vanderbilt and did really well, but he's not beating any world beaters at Vanderbilt. He's just winning games that were really he wasn't expected to, but they were never in the hunt. And at Florida, that is never going to be good enough. You gotta win the big games, like you said, and he can't do that.
Well, what do you guys think? Who would be a great fit? Kyle, who do you think will be a great fit at Florida? I don't know if you've thought about this yet, but
off the top of my head, I'll stay in the state. I'll stay in the state.
Lane Kiffin. Why would he leave Ole Miss? I saw that earlier.
He wouldn't. I would stay in the state.
Wouldn't.
I'll stay in the state and go over to Tampa and maybe hire the USF head coach.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Very good coach.
Yeah. Alex Golish from Tennessee. He's an offensive line guy.
Yeah, I think he would be a good fit. Another guy, you mentioned Vandy. Vandy's head coach. He's done a hell of a job.
Oh yeah.
Clark Lee.
Clark Lee. He would be another guy. If I was Florida, I'd look at strongly. I think Bubba and I were talking earlier, and for Colorado State, he mentioned Kendall Briles, and I think that would be Kendall Briles is somebody I always have on the short list for ECU, and I think he makes a lot of sense for Colorado State. They need to be able to recruit Texas, and Kendall has a lot of Texas ties. So for you asked for the Florida job, but I'll just Colorado State fired their head coach. I think Kendall Briles would be somebody I would target if I was them. But Clark Lee, and then USF head coach. I'm terrible with names, guys.
Alex Golish.
Yeah, Golish. Those would be two guys that I would be looking at hard if I was Florida.
I got two for you. Go ahead.
All right, let's hear it.
Stay in the SEC. Eli Drinkwitz. Why not?
That's a good call.
Yeah.
And maybe Washington Huskies. I mean, their schemes are good. They don't have quite the players, but Jed Fish, I think, might be someone that they'd be interested in, just because I think Florida wants a high-powered offense. I think they want to throw the ball all around and score a lot of points.
Would
Play
you?
good
I
defense.
mean, Missouri has money, and they, at this point at Missouri, Eli Drinkowitz is, he's golden there. I mean, they love him. I mean, would you leave there to go to Florida? I mean,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if I would. I don't.
And
I
I
don't
hate
know.
Florida, just for the record. I'm sorry, Matt. Sorry, Chrissy.
No, don't be
Now,
sorry. It's all good.
I'm a Tennessee fan, so I'm a Gator hater. But yeah, Eli, they're going to do everything they can to hold on to him. But I think Florida would take him.
I got
How
one.
about Urban Meyer?
Oh, I know Florida would take him. I just don't know that. I
Hey.
think Missouri can match him, and I don't know if I was him if I'd leave for Florida.
Hey, Matt, I got one for you, Matt. How about Bill Belichick?
Oh,
No.
jeez. Chapel Bill.
How about Urban Meyer again?
That thought crossed my mind. It's not out of the realm of possibility. I also think Urban Meyer will be a great fit at Penn State.
I think that's where I was.
Man, but I just, the thing is, like, with all these coaches, when they get to that age, do they still have the fire in their belly do they still want to, on a Wednesday night in the middle of October, do they want to leave their family and go on the road and recruit? And that's,
Lincoln Riley to the Florida Gators.
boy, oh boy, Lincoln Riley was awful last night in that Notre Dame game.
Yeah.
I mean, good Lord.
He may lose his job.
He was not good in that game. I mean, some really head-scratching calls.
About Dan Mullen.
He's been there.
No, I know that's what they're hiring back.
Well,
Robert said that. He said half kidding. I like Dan Mullen, but he just didn't fit the Florida. He didn't fit that program, I don't think, in my opinion.
I think, who's the offensive coordinator at Oregon? Because that type of system would be great at Florida. That up-tempo, high octane.
I agree.
1,000%.
Maybe go that route, but
Dan Mullen, he did say he was not interested in going to Arkansas because he's happy at UNLV, but maybe Florida would. But I just don't think they're never going to go there.
Mullen?
Yeah, Florida's never going to go to Mullen.
Him back.
No, never.
That would be ridiculous.
Fellas, did Florida State fire Norvell today? Because
no, Jake Norvell, not Mike Norvell.
Mike Norvell, right? They didn't fire him today. I'm shocked after they blew that game at Stanford last night. I mean, I
didn't know that.
Oh, here's another one.
Yeah, they lost to Stanford. They did.
Hey, Matt, this is one I thought about a few weeks ago, and John brings it up. I forgot about it. Thank you, John. How about Dabo to the Gators?
That is interesting.
I thought about that a few weeks ago when he was getting all defensive and they were losing the games. I'm like, damn.
You mean yesterday?
Well, yeah, they keep losing. But I think his time at Clemson is up, and why not have a fresh start? And the thing that I would talk to Matt before that drives me crazy is if you're Florida, you are the flagship school, and you've got in a short drive, and you don't even have to drive. People want to come to you. The 4- and 5-star guys are plentiful in Florida. So that's what's been the enigma for me is why is Florida still losing when they have a good program?
Well, if you look at Florida, okay, so you typically you don't want to keep repeating the same pattern. So let's look at their last two head coaches. They hired Dan Mullen, who had a background at Florida as an assistant, was a head coach in the SEC. Then they hired Billy Napier, head coach at Louisiana Lafayette, both offensive-minded guys. So you can't necessarily say, all right, we don't want to hire another G5 head coach, or we want to hire a Power 5 head coach or a Power 4 head coach because neither one worked out for you. So I wonder if this time they hired back-to-back offensive-minded guys. I wonder if they'll go to defensive-minded guy this time. I don't know. I would just hire whoever the best coach was out there that's the right fit, not worry about repeating patterns or not. But we're not a Florida Gator podcast, but we're talking about them awful lot. But I suggested South Florida's coach, and then Clark Lee at Vandy. Beyond that, I don't know who the Gators are going to go after. It'll be interesting to see. There'll be a lot of interesting hires, and there'll be a lot more coaches fired between now and the end of the season. I thought maybe with the transfer portal being pushed back to January, this would stop some of the really, really early firings, but apparently not.
I'll tell you, Shane Beamer better be careful at South Carolina because
They lost.
that thing has turned quick, and that offense is putrid. It is awful. I mean, I'm sitting here complaining about ECU scoring 41 points. South Carolina's offense is an embarrassment. So he's got to be careful there.
I got another one for you, Kyle. One of your favorites, and I like him as a coach. But do you guys think that Hugh Freeze is going to get fired this year?
Man, Auburn's not a bad football team. They just keep losing close games.
I know. That's what I'm getting.
That's a good question. I don't know. I wondered that too. His seat is getting hot. I'll say this. I think it depends on how the rest of the season goes. If they make a bowl game, if they still get the 6-6, if Bama embarrasses them on the way to the playoff, he's gone, and that will probably happen.
You got to beat Bama. You got the Iron Bowl. You got to win the Iron Bowl and go to a bowl and win. I would think that's off the top of my head. But
you beat Bama. You beat Bama last game of the year. It probably don't matter what else happens. If he ain't got fired by then, if he beats Bama, he'll probably be back next year. But I think he's got two ways to save his job: get to a bowl game or beat Bama. You do both, you're golden. But yeah, they're not bad. They're not bad at all. I mean, they had Missouri on the ropes. They just couldn't get it done.
Yeah, I agree, Kyle.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that's a good point. Bama surging, and I know we'll go back to ECU here in a second, but you mentioned Bama, so I just had to mention this, Kyle. They have a player number 5. He's a slot receiver. His last name is Bernard. Every so often you watch football and you see it, like your jaw drops by what a player can do on the field. This guy was making plays last night. They weren't even human. Watch number 5 next time you watch Alabama. Last name Bernard. This guy, I mean, he was literally surrounded by 4 people and making them miss in a phone booth. It was insane.
Brian Kelly's a good coach. LSU can kiss my ass. LSU fires everybody. They fired Ed Ogeron after he won a national championship. Now they want to fire Brian Kelly. Look, fire Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly will go get a job somewhere else and win. I know Brian Kelly. Part of Brian Kelly's problem is his personality is about as likable as a wart. But I do.
You remember that fake Southern accent he did for LSU after he left Notre Dame?
But
him and Hillary.
Would you take him in Florida?
That'd be interesting, actually. I don't think Florida fans would want him,
no.
But I do think Brian Kelly's a good coach. I'd take him in Greenville if suddenly we go 10-3 and Blake Harrell takes the head coaching job at a Power 4 school. I'd take Brian Kelly here. I think Brian Kelly's a good coach. I think LSU is. I don't know. I mean, Ed Ogeron. I mean, I know Eddie O.
Won a national championship.
Yeah, and I know he kind of fell apart after that. Eddie O is contingent on his staff big time.
Oh yeah.
But.
We'll take him too. We'll take him.
I don't want Eddie.
I would
it's
love
too big
him,
of a risk. It's too big of a risk in East Carolina. But I just don't know what LSU fans want. I mean, I know they want to compete for national championships. That's what they want. But I wouldn't fire Brian Kelly if I was them. But he may be on the hot seat. You may very well be right. Did Virginia come back and beat Washington State last night?
Yes, 22-20.
They won last night.
Okay, I think I was on CW. I didn't.
Yeah.
I my access up in the mountains was just the ESPN app, so I couldn't watch anything that wasn't available on the ESPN app.
Okay.
So
you missed Virginia's throwback unis, and they were less than spectacular. I thought that was going to doom them, but they found a way to win it.
Washington State playing a tough schedule, played very well at Ole Miss and against UVA.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the rest of their schedule holds. I think they're like 3-4 now, but they may end up, getting to a bowl. I think if they're bowl eligible, I believe somebody might want to double check this, but I believe if they get bowl eligible, I think they're tied for the Pac-12 for this year for the 2 teams. It's the Independence Bowl, I think. So and that's against the American. So possibly you could see East Carolina versus Washington State in Shreveport.
Well, the 2018, we won the Independence Bowl with our good friend Terry Gallagher.
In 78, yeah, we had the reunion party in
Yeah.
2018. Yeah, it sounded like you said we won the 2018 Independence Bowl.
Oh, sorry. No, we had
So-
the party in 2018 for the 1978 guys.
yeah, the reunion.
Yeah. So how about the I mentioned too, Trey Savage with 6 strikeouts, 5-0 Blue Jays, bottom of the 5th. Really
Nice.
proud to have really proud. I know it's a football show we're playing, but I'm keeping an eye like a lot of the fans are, and really proud of Trey Savage, man. I tell you what, I can't wait. We're going to have one hell of a party in Omaha when we go, man. But anyway, Matt, were there some?
Hey, by the way, speaking of other sports, really fast, a preseason college basketball poll came out. Richmond's number 25. I had no idea Richmond was projected to be that
I
good.
haven't seen it yet. Wow.
So, so the Pirates, the day we're playing Charlotte, will be playing at number 25 Richmond in shooty hoops. So, just thought that was interesting.
I hadn't had a chance to look at that yet. But
Did you guys? Was Richmond really good last year? I mean, what? That's
No.
shocked me.
No, that shocked me, Kyle, because I'm a basketball guy, and that wasn't on my radar.
They must have hit the portal hard.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to look at that, but I'll definitely do that. By the way, while we have a chance, the media day for men for basketball is on Tuesday, so I'll be there, and on Thursday for the women. For Kim McNeil. So we'll do that. Kim McNeil, if you're looking for something to do on Tuesday night, come by and be with me. We're going to be at the women's basketball banquet.
Where have we finished in the conference in women's basketball the last 2-3 years?
Let me look at it. Let me look at it again. Hold on a second. I'll be with you.
Okay, yeah, because once you tell me that, I'll have a comment I may or may not want to make.
Okay, let me look that up, and while you have a.
Okay.
While you guys, yeah, I did want to. Matt, one of the questions I had, if you saw on our notes, is with the bye week, and I'll be able to look up that stat for you, Kyle. Speaking of football, how do you feel as a former player? I know why we have 2 bye weeks, because we have 14 teams, 13, 14 teams. So
no, it's because the reason we have 2 bye weeks has nothing to do with 14 teams. Pretty much everybody's doing it. It's because of Labor Day coming early and Thanksgiving falling late, and when that happens, you end up with 2 bye weeks. Since we've gone to 12 games, it's a couple times that's happened. Yeah.
All right, so that makes me feel better.
Well, it comes at a great time. It comes at a great time. I mean, we've definitely lucked out with the bye weeks this year. Like, you see some teams having bye weeks in week 2, and it's just absurd to me because, you're not doing these teams any favors. But it comes at a great time. I thought I thought our defense looked a little tired the other night, which understandably so. You played a number of games now. Your body starts to accumulate hits and bumps and bruises, and this is a long break, and we're going to get some guys back. All right, for the Temple game, we're going to get Xavier McIver back up front. He's been out for at least 4 weeks now. We talked about both of our tackles have been out or were out last night. Hopefully, we're going to get McCrimmon back for that game. We saw Josiah Robinson go down last night. So a lot of guys are banged up. What is it, Kyle?
You saw just nothing. You're going to realize what you just said in a minute. We didn't
Josiah
play
Robinson?
Yeah.
Who did I say?
If Matt saw Josiah Robinson go down last night, it was in a totally different manner.
Thursday.
Nah, he was having a good game too. Josiah was getting it done.
Yeah, Thursday night. Right. Yeah, I'm sorry. When you said that, then you said last night. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
See, it's the Thursday night game. It's screwing everything up. Yeah. But the point is, we're going to be pretty healthy going into that Temple game, I hope.
Bubba mentions a great point.
Interesting. Do you get out before you get fired? And he goes to Vautech. Yeah, interesting, Bubba.
That's a great point, Bubba. Yeah, I'm looking up the record book for the ladies. You want the last 3 years?
Yes.
Okay, so we went 23-10 in the 22-23 season, 11-5 in the American, 23-24, 19-14 overall, 9-9 in the American, and last year a lot of injuries from my memory. 24-25, we went 17-15, 8-10 in the American. I'm trying to.
Okay, because they referred to Kim McNeil as conference championship contending ladies head coach Kim McNeil, and I was wondering when the last time we had contended for a women's conference championship, because that's how they referred to her the other night.
Yeah, we beat Houston in the conference in the 22-23 season.
Okay. Yeah, so it's been a couple years. Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, like for me, I agree with you, Matt, 100% about the bye week. We've got Blake talked about that. We got a lot of, and it's football is captain obvious here, but it is a tough sport, and so we've got to just find a way to get these guys healthy and then get some guys back. And Matt, are you going to be able to come down to? I know you're not a fan of Temple, but would you be able to make the drive to that game?
It's definitely possible. I'm actually thinking about that. I am thinking about that.
Yeah, Johnny and I definitely am going. Johnny, I know he has.
Well, I'm 50-50, but if Matt elects to attend, that's going to tip the scales.
All right.
All right. Well, I'll definitely let you know then right away. I mean, I would like to go there and erase the memory of. We've talked about this 100 times. What year was it? Was it 2014?
Yeah.
The rain, the free fumbles.
That
we erased the memory of that in 22 on the last second win. You just weren't there. You just turned the game off.
that was
true.
You were so mad, and then you're like, wait, we won?
Yeah.
In our group text, you're like, we won? Like,
yeah.
EJ Warner looking like Brett Favre, but
EJ Warner now Fresno State.
Still throwing picks though. He's throwing a bunch of picks this season.
Yeah.
Hey, so Temple's only a 6.5 point favorite against Tulsa this week. That kind of
that has to be at Tulsa.
Oh, well, yeah, it is. It's at Tulsa, but Tulsa at home is, not really a threat. They're actually playing better on the road than they are at home.
Is that a Saturday game or a Thursday game or a Friday game?
It's a Saturday game.
I'm just trying to figure out why the spread is only 6.5. That's a little surprising to me. I
agree.
I think that maybe gives some credence to them thinking Tulsa's getting better. So we'll see. I'm anxious to see what happens in that game. That's one I'll be watching because, after that they play us. So,
yeah, I feel good about that Temple game. And hey, Matt, you guys,
you do.
I really do. I really do. Matt, what do you think? Do you guys have any idea? Because y'all bet. I don't bet, so because I don't know what I'm doing. I like the idea of betting. I just don't know what I'm doing. But Matt, do you, as far as that line, I know it's not out yet, but do you have a prediction on what you think the line will be? You or Kyle or Johnny?
For Temple?
Oh boy, that is a tough one. I think.
I can ask AI what they think. I think it's going to depend on. Go ahead,
I would say Temple -1.
I think it's going to depend on what happens. Largely, what happens this week in Tulsa.
Yeah, that's true.
If I had to guess, boy, I don't know. I think if Temple handles their business against Tulsa, covers the spread, I'll say Temple -1 to -3. If they win it at the last second or lose, the Pirates by 3. But I think it's going to be very tight, maybe even a pick 'em.
Yeah, that's what John White's saying. He's calling a pick 'em.
Oh.
I was wondering about that. That makes me feel better. I was thinking that it would be a really small line there as far as that.
Yeah, it's going to be. Like Kyle said, though, with some business that needs to be taken care of, though, in Tulsa before we come to that number. But, yeah.
And I do have a challenge real quick, and we'll get back on script about what we're talking about when it comes to this Temple game. Is I would love to see a bowl-like atmosphere, meaning that we could get, I don't know, 3,000, 5,000, 7,000 fans. The people that like Matt. What?
I doubt we're going to get that many up.
I know it's a stretch, but Matt, there's a lot of great people in the city and Connecticut and all in the Northeast. You get those folks, and then crazy people like me. And I won't say Johnny's crazy. I'll speak for myself, but I love my Pirates so much. I just have a good feeling about that game. I love Philly. I want to get me a cheesesteak while I'm there. And Johnny, you and I can run up and down the art museum like Rocky.
There you go.
I might need some EMS after I do that. But anyway, what do you think, Matt? I love Philadelphia. Do you not like Philadelphia?
No, I like what I like about Philly is the historical
Right.
stuff that goes, so much history there. So I like that kind of thing. I would like to, if I go, I'd like to go a day early and maybe take in some of that,
Very cool, like
you know,
Constitution Hall.
yeah, so, but yeah, I mean, the city, really cool city to visit. Stadium, not so much, but it is what it is. I think that's the key to this game, guys, is you have to fight against that empty stadium, and you have to be, as a player, you have to be mentally prepared going into that environment, which it sucks. And you have to be able, the big thing is you have to create your own energy and maintain it through.
That was one of the questions I had, and Kyle talked earlier about Memphis and UAB, and maybe Memphis wasn't prepared. I looked at those highlights this morning, and man, not that I was surprised, but man, nobody at that UAB stadium is awesome. I love that stadium, and they're really cool. But man, there was nobody there. And you bring up a great point, Matt. I was going to ask you that very thing: is as a player, how do you prepare yourself? You played in Tulane and the Superdome and places like that, and places like I guess Legion Field, when before they had a nice stadium. UAB has a nice stadium there. They just can't draw fans. But how do you prepare for that? Like it's you don't have people booing you. You don't have people cheering you. It's just kind of odd, like a practice maybe or a scrimmage.
It's awful. It's awful. I mean, you just have to. It just takes a certain level of discipline to be able to create your own energy. And you think about some of these games we played over the years at Rice, and some of these empty stadiums. I could think of some games at the old Superdome against Tulane where it was empty, and you just have to be a mature football team and handle your business. And the great teams find a way to do it. They don't lose those games.
Hey, do you think playing on these Thursday nights in a half-empty Dowdy Ficklin might pay to be serious? Might actually pay to our advantage, where we've had to create our no, I'm being serious. Where we've had to create more of our own atmosphere than usual.
It definitely could, Kyle. You never know.
Well, that's a positive spin if I've ever heard it for not having all these Thursday night games. I wanted to get you guys' take on.
Okay, according to ChatGTP, after I had to manipulate, ask, twist its leg, beat it half to death, it said if the line opened today, based on their analytics, ECU would be a 2.5-point favorite.
All right.
Okay. All right.
Out of curiosity, I just want to ask you guys because I guess I can place some bets now. But anyway, I wanted to see your thoughts on around the college football landscape. We've already talked about it a little bit, but there were some games. Were there games that surprised you?
Yeah. UAB, Memphis.
I know. I mean, we talked about
Coastal Appalachian State shocked me. I can't believe Coastal's 4-3 now. Who did anybody watching anybody on this podcast think Coastal would be 4-3 after we beat them 38-0?
Nope.
No, they look bad. They look like a bad team. Yeah.
That shocked me. What else?
Texas
Louisville beat
Tech.
Miami. Louisville beat Miami.
Louisville beating Miami.
Texas Tech getting beat by Arizona State.
Well, no, it's not just that. It's that Arizona State had that game in hand. Texas Tech came back from the dead, took the lead late, and then the fact that they didn't hold on to it and lost, that really, really shocked me.
I'll tell you a team that shocked me this year, Cincinnati. Who picked Cincinnati to be a top 25 team this year?
Exactly. Bubba says the ECU Alumni Association of Philly is having a tailgate for $10. It includes hors d'oeuvres and 3 pirate beverages.
There's an ECU Alumni Association of Philadelphia. How many damn alumnus do we have in the Philly area?
Hey, that's what I'm trying to tell you guys. The thing that drives me crazy is that to let you guys know, I'm on the board of directors for the Eastern North Carolina Alumni Association.
Hey, Dave, why don't you pick one more thing to do?
Yeah, exactly. Well, actually, the good thing is I don't have to put in a lot of work for it compared to other things. So I'm good.
I was telling somebody yesterday, actually, a friend of mine that we were eating dinner with up in Boone, asked me how the podcast was going and everything, and and I mentioned you. I was like, Dave has a job at the hospital. He does the podcast. He co-owner or co-operator. I don't know your official title of the Snack Shack.
Yep.
You're a city commissioner in Martin County, Williamston. You a single dad. You get your kids back and forth to sporting events. You're the voice of the Martin County Gators for Friday night high school football. Am I leaving anything out? Do you need any more things to do? Would you
Do
like
you
to start milking
sleep?
cows in the morning before you go to work?
I can do that if you need if you need me to. No,
Dave,
but
do you ever sleep, Dave?
actually,
That's what she said. That's what my friend Sarah said when I said all that.
actually, I do. I actually have learned to be honest, guys, is that whenever there's a lot going on outside of sports, like the weekend, the only good thing about the Thursday night game is I've been able to do a lot this weekend around the house, and I did a walk. It was a heart walk at ECU yesterday. That ECU Health is big in for, so I had to do that, but that only lasted like 36 minutes, so like for a mile.
Speaking of that, Dave, our broadcast colleague Stevie Fly is not here tonight. He has a friend that's hanging out with him. Stevie's birthday was Thursday, so happy belated birthday to Stevie. But Stevie ran in a 5K yesterday.
Oh yeah, I was going to mention that. Thank you.
He won his age class. So he
Wow.
came first in his age class, and out of 30 some runners, he finished 7th overall, which included high school cross country runners.
Wow.
So, 52 years old, Stevie getting it done in the best shape of his life, probably. So,
Thank you.
congratulations to Mr. Stevie.
Yeah, congrats, Stevie. You crushed it.
Good for Stevie, man. When you said his age group, I thought you were talking about 65 and above.
Oh,
But well done, Stevie. Well done, my friend.
By the way, I
'cause
did
I
wanna-
sure as hell couldn't do it.
exactly. By the way, I want to let you guys know.
7th overall to me was most impressive. Versus, he won his age group, but when you're racing against high school kids that run cross country and you finish 7th overall, and he said he would have finished 6th, but he said a high school girl. He said he thought about blocking her like Kyle Busch, but she was going faster than him, so she passed him at the end, or he would have finished 6th, right at the line. He said everybody was watching. He couldn't block her.
By the way, I did want to say on a sad note, on Stevie's birthday, his favorite member of KISS, Ace Frehley, died, which was really sad at the age of 74. And I want to give a shout out to Stevie because he by far, like when you like a band, Stevie is a super fan of KISS. And he actually told me that he had a KISS costume of Ace Frehley he wore until it got to the point where it was ripped. I think it was 3 years in a row when he was a little kid. So that really sucked, and I really felt bad for Stevie when we were at the game Thursday night because I found out right before the game that Ace had passed away. So anyway, you were talking earlier about third down songs. We can do rock and roll all night. Somebody had said play KISS.
Yeah, somebody did suggest that. I want to rock and roll all night. Hey, I
What
don't know
was
if you
the
guys remember
bell,
this.
Kyle?
Huh?
What was the bell we used to do back in? It was around that
You're
time.
talking about the Undertaker bell with the dome, dome music, and then arg.
Yeah, I thought that was great.
Yeah, bring that back. I mentioned that earlier. I mentioned that earlier in the year on Pirate Radio to bring that back. But I was going to mention, you talking about Rock and Roll Night Party every day. That used to be on YouTube. It may still be. I might could find it. In 2011, we played UCF on a Saturday night. It was to get us to 500 to try to play Bulledville against Marshall, and it was packed. And at some point late in that game, and it was a really close game, we played Rock and Roll All Night Party every day in the stadium, and the crowd sang along to it. And that clip was on YouTube for a while. Do you guys remember that? Well, Matt, you wouldn't have been there. JR, Dave, do you guys remember that game when we did that?
No.
Not off the top.
I'll find the clip. Let's see if I can find the clip. It was UCF 2011.
Wow. That was I tell you what, that's a team. That's a team I wish we had the schedule. Matt, I don't know if you get being from the 90s. I absolutely despise UCF even before their run that they did, so well in a few years back. But I've just always thought that they thought they were better than they actually are. And they backed it up when they backed it up for sure. But let's see. Bubba says the Torrance Hunt game in 2011.
Yes. He towards Hunt. Was it a kickoff return, punt return? He did something big in that game. Was what Bubba's referring to. Yes, I don't remember the exact play, but he had a huge play in that game.
By the way, guys, Trey Savage's night is over. It was over seven strikeouts and only one run given up. In an ALCS game. How about that?
Outstanding.
No doubt. Let's see. What do you guys? Do you guys have anything else? I know that we've been running with tonight.
You didn't go to my stats thing, but I had a few.
Go ahead.
I'll go quick. I'll go real quick. So I just wanted to give props to Caton because last season, he threw an interception every 185 yards. This year, he's at 497 yards between interceptions. He hasn't thrown one in his last 71 passes, and he's had his third 300-yard game against Tulsa. So, I mean, we give him some flack. I do sometimes as well, but he is. We're lucky to have him, and I feel like he's trending up. That's the one stat. The other thing about the American is this is crazy, but 10 different teams in the American have won a conference game by 18 points or more.
Wow.
These games are lopsided. And then this is another just stupid stat. In the American, they've attempted 342 extra points, and they've made 341, 99.7% extra point rate, which is way, way, way above average. Wow. And the only person to miss one was Tulane's kicker.
Man. Hey, by the way,
Who's the best kicker in the league?
Yeah, exactly.
By the way, Kyle mentioned this, put this on Facebook, and I was going to mention it, totally forgot. And Semenza, you were there. So on this day in 1996, 29 years ago, unranked East Carolina went down to the Orange Bowl, and they routed the number 12 Miami Hurricanes 31-6 in front of 31,909 fans at the Orange Bowl. And the Pirates were led by quarterback Marcus Crandall. He scored 31 unanswered points. Crandall threw 3 touchdown passes. And Matt, I'm glad you posted that, Kyle. That's one of my favorite Pirate games of all time. Just want to get your take, Matt, on that game since you were there. And what a day. What a night to be a Pirate.
Yeah, that was awesome. Great memory. And called off the dogs, too, by the way, that night. I mean, we could have – it was one of those nights where the score could have been even worse. But, yeah, just a great night. Everything worked offensively, the running game. Crandall was on fire. Defense played really well, physical. Just a great memory playing in that old Orange Bowl. And, I'm glad Kyle mentioned it, too. It's hard to believe it was that long ago.
Almost 30 years. But that's the kind of you were talking about a moment, Kyle. We need those kind of games where
Yeah, and we need one at home. I mean, I'd take one on the road, but we really need one at home. We like I said, we had the moment in the bowl game last year, but just not one in Dottie Pickle.
Bubba says, Matt, tell the story about Casey Jones running his mouth.
Casey Jones from the Ninja Turtles. How about that?
Oh, boy, yeah. No, that story. So he was the center at Miami, and in the fourth quarter, he was so frustrated when the game really started getting out of control. He was spitting. He kept spitting on our players, and he spit on me once. So, and I kind of loved it because it just told me we had him. We had that game in control and had him rattled. So, yeah, it wasn't the classiest move, but I do remember that very clearly.
Yeah. Wow, that's just amazing that a player would do that. Well, it's bottom of the 6th right now. Watching the game, Toronto is up 5-2, and the bottom of the 6th, guys. So we'll see. We'll keep our eye on that.
Yeah, so we've been going almost 2 hours here. Yeah. Is there anything else anybody wants to get out, or I'm just going to go to sleep?
No, you're going to start.
Yeah.
We've had a consecutive streak of nobody falling asleep on the podcast.
That was back in the days where I had a CPAP and we were doing audio only, and I did have 2 different times I fell asleep in the podcast. One where I was openly snoring in the middle of an interview.
Yeah, it was. Hey, Matt. So it's Othello Meadows, who he's from Omaha, Nebraska, and he told us that whenever we make it to Omaha, he's going to find a sports bar where we can do our show. He loved the show, and so all of a sudden we're talking, and Othello is pouring his heart out about something about the Pirates, and all of a sudden in the background, Bubba can attest to this. You can hear snoring, and we're like, "What the hell?" And so we realized it was Kai.
Untreated sleep apnea, baby. Untreated sleep apnea. you just fall asleep anytime because you weren't sleeping well at night.
Yeah, but anyway, guys, do you have anything? We'll wrap it up.
I just wanted to mention Kenny's question was how about the hit on number 70 on that onside kick? That was I think that was Barker wearing number 70 for some reason. We don't have a number 70 on the roster, but I'm pretty sure that Barker was wearing
Mackenzie
that.
Barker.
Yeah, for some reason I'm not so sure why, but I'm pretty sure that was him.
Well, all right, and I want to let everybody know that we will have a show on Wednesday night. I know that it's a bye week, but we'll work on that. And then want to remind everybody, Kyle, that everybody can like our show. They can like us on Facebook, right? And subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe on Facebook. Like, follow on Facebook. Subscribe on YouTube. Like it on Facebook. Do whatever you do on X. All that good stuff. And then, and like you said, Dave, I think you're getting the shows back out now on the audio only platforms.
I am. So wherever you can listen to your favorite podcasts, we are doing that now again. So as soon as we get this done, I'm going to be working on getting the show out. So that's my new thing, because I want people to be able to. There are a lot of people that like to listen to us whenever they're driving. Salespeople that are driving back and forth to different places. People that travel a lot. People that are working out. I've heard people that are cutting their grass listen to us, the traditional podcast. So I want to make a commitment to them, and people have asked us here, so we want to make it happen. All right, guys, we're going to get out of here. Thank you so much to a huge crowd again tonight, fellas. Appreciate that very much, and people listening and watching in the archives, appreciate that as well. We'll get out of here. We'll see you Wednesday night at 8:30. Good night, everybody, and as always, go Pirates.
You're watching The Sports Objective, the podcast for Pirates.